Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, my name is Richard Dix, and this is How Did That Happen? A podcast where I look at everyday things or events and try to figure out how they came to be. Every week I will research one topic, and by the end of the episode, I hope to truly have the answer to the question, how did that happen? Hello, and welcome to another episode of How Did That Happen? This week, we are discussing lighters, handheld fire. From the famous Bic to the flint and steel, I examine the connection between man and that spark that changed it all. Come along for the ride as I ask, lighters, how did that happen? If we're going to talk about lighters, then we have to start with fire. And in addition to lighters, a brief history of matches will also be covered because it seemed like the subjects go hand in hand. It is believed that Homo erectus discovered fire somewhere between 200,000 and 1.7 million years ago. In the year 577, the Chinese had created sticks of pine wood that they would put sulfur in, which would give them a flammable, match-like quality. From there, humans developed the flint and steel method, which involves striking a flint or similar rock and a piece of steel together, creating a spark that will light the tinder. This is how people made fires until matches came around. The first match was created in 1805 by a French chemist named Jean-Louis Chancel. It was difficult to ignite and released a strong odor when it was finally lit. In 1823, Johann Wolfgang Dobrinner invented the first lighter. It looks nothing like modern lighters, but due to a mix of sulfuric acid, zinc, and hydrogen gas, it was able to produce a flame. It was also said to spontaneously combust if left in places of high heat, so good luck with that one in the summertime. By the 1830s, it was estimated that Dobrinner had produced at least 20,000 of these lighters, distributing them all about Europe. This made them one of the more popular brands during that time. John Walker from England created a match that lit by friction in 1826, but he did not patent this technology. Due to him not patenting it, a man by the name of Samuel Jones stole the idea and marketed these friction matches as lucifers, which I think is a pretty interesting marketing tactic, naming a flame stick after Lucifer. I think that's pretty good advertising. The matchbook was patented by Joshua Pusey in America in 1892 and was then bought by the Diamond Match Company. In 1903, Karl Auer von Welsbach patented ferrocerium, which I know I'm not doing that any justice, which is a synthetic alloy that produces a very hot, bright spark when struck. This invention eventually became what is called flint today, despite it actually being a man-made metallic material. It allowed lighters to go from table-side lamp-looking objects to smaller, portable things that we know today. The Ronson Wonder Lighter, made in 1913, was one of the first flint lighters made in America. The first novelty lighter was created by Louis Aronson in 1910, and it was called the pistol lighter because it looked like a small pistol. Now, I mean, what does that say about America, that the first novelty lighter we make has to look like a gun? Zippo lighters were created by George Blaisdell in Pennsylvania in 1932. When World War II started, Zippo stopped producing lighters for the consumer market and instead shifted all their production efforts to helping with the war. In 1941, they became standard issue to the soldiers fighting overseas. In 1935, Henry Penghiot, which I just have a feeling his man's name might actually be Henri for whatever reason, files a patent for the first butane gas lighter. This leads to butane lighters coming into prominence in the coming years. They were preferred more to the ferrocerium lighters because they did not leave a bad taste in the tobacco. In the 1950s, Zippo becomes the first lighter company to sell branded lighters, which is something that we're very used to seeing now. But up until that point, lighters were just the company that made them was the only thing that you saw on that lighter. By the late 50s, the first electric lighters had hit the market in the form of the piezo electric lighter. They worked with a spring-loaded hammer that would strike a quartz crystal, which created a spark, which then gave you the flame. The 60s would see the creation of the world's first disposable lighter by a company named Fudor in France. It was called the Stick until it was bought out by Gillette, and then it was renamed the Cricket. The creation of the disposable lighter would lead to a lot of small lighter companies going out of business because people could throw away and buy another lighter with no problem. So it really didn't lead them to have to go back to those mom and pop stores to keep buying these manual lighters that required all this maintenance. In 1971, the Bic company of pen and pencil fame buys a French lighter company named Feminaire. That company had been in business since 1947, making butane lighters. 2 years later, Bic would release their own version of their disposable lighter, and it would take over the market. Essentially, Bic and Zippo own the current lighter market, both domestic and abroad. This is not to say that other companies don't exist, but these two names have become ubiquitous with the portable flame. Other advancements include the Tesla lighter, which works using an internal magnet and an electric arc, which I've seen pictures of it. I don't really want anything to do with it, but it's out there if you guys are interested. And that is how lighters happened. And now it's time for the roundup. The roundup. And we're gonna round it up. The first match was invented in 1805 by Jean-Louis Chancel. It was not like the ones we know today. Johann Wolfgang Dauberner invented the first lighter in 1823. It was able to light thanks to a mixture of sulfuric acid, zinc, and hydrogen gas. Carl von Welsbach patented ferrocium in 1903, which paves the way for the flint wheel we see on modern Bics today. Henry Pingia patented the first butane lighter in 1935, and it is these two types of lighters that continue to dominate the market today. Basically, Zippo and Bic still reign supreme. Things I didn't know before. Okay, we talked about some things I didn't know before. I didn't know that the first company to do a branded matchbook was PBR. I thought that was very interesting. I've had a few PBRs in my time. I think the PBR brand itself is pretty timeless, and it was pretty interesting to find out that they were the first company, 120 years ago, to say, let's put our brand on there. Our people who like to drink but like to smoke, they made that connection pretty early on, it seems. This I found very interesting. Is in World War I, they would make lighters out of empty bullet casings, and you can still find some of those online and stuff, but they basically did that because it would, the flame, that the other lighters they had at the time were brighter, and they would make these the flame was lower so it wouldn't be seen at nighttime, basically, and that was, but they're really cool looking. I'll definitely probably post a picture on the Twitter account. Another one that I have, and I definitely didn't know it before, but if you know anything about businesses, it's not surprising at how business acquisitions go. But it's the fact that Bic bought another company, a French lighter making company, and then took that technology and then created the famous Bic lighter that we have today. I just find that interesting because it just makes you wonder, like, how close, maybe was that company already to making the Bic lighter that we know? And like, what if the French company had stayed in business? Would we have a French Bic version instead of what we have now? I don't know. It's just in my mind, I always assume that because they did so many other things, that they probably just made the Bic lighter. And I mean, they definitely did some things, but it's like they already bought a company that made lighters, so like they definitely already had some technology. There was the last one, which I thought was just one of you find some of these every now and then that they're just out of this world. As far as like, we can't believe that people did this, but was a such thing as a lighter watch combination. So if you ever need your watch to light your cigarette, or if you did in 1929, there was a company called Elgin that would do that for you. And it's like, what won't we put on our wrist and do and try these days? And this has been another episode of How Did That Happen? I am your host, Richard Dix. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.